Hello and welcome back to Here's the News, the live news show on Here's the Thing. I am once again joined by I'm not sure if he's generative AI yet. We'll find out maybe this week. Ari, how are you feeling? Are you feeling good going into this week of stacked news?
I am feeling good. I am really looking forward to talking about Supergirl. I'm really looking forward to that, and we can talk about how bad AI is, not good.
Yeah, Ari teased it. We got the Supergirl trailer. We have Disney signing a big money contract to an AI company. Not looking good there for Disney. HBO Max previewing its year. Zootopia making lots and lots of money. All kinds of stuff to talk about this week. But we're starting it out with the biggest, most important, most smashing news of the week. Street Fighter received the teaser trailer last night at the Video Game Awards, the Game Awards, and I am more invested, I guess, in gaming than Ari is. I follow video game culture, so I know Street Fighter. I know the characters. Ari is going in pretty blind to this. So, what did you think, Ari, of the Street Fighter teaser as somebody who is basically not familiar at all with Street Fighter?
It's actually a lot of fun. It's just so dumb, and that's why I think this movie looks like it's going to work. It's just people fighting. There's literally no plot. There's like no dialogue. It's literally just people beating the shit out of each other. And you got that one guy with that hilarious flat top and David Desmelchin walking. It looks like everyone knows what movie they're in, and it looks like it could be genuinely fun.
Yeah, that was my biggest takeaway. This looks like a lot of fun. It looks like it's not trying to add a bunch of like lore and story to all of this stuff and make it be more than it has to be. They're just like, hey, let's get these really iconic characters that everybody knows the looks of, and let's have them fight. They show moves from the game, they show stages from the game, they have game inside jokes like where you can beat up on this car and tear it apart, and they show that happening in the movie. So it's going to be one of those things that has a lot of fun for the gamer, but I think Ari is an example of someone who can just go in here and say, "Oh, I want to see people fight and do crazy fight moves and say funny lines and have pointy hair, and I want to laugh at how fun it is." And I think Street Fighter is going to provide that. So I really think it can find that middle ground of pleasing the outsider while also having a bunch of fan service and Easter eggs and inside jokes for people who are more invested than you are. But yeah, I'm really excited for this. Dude, have you seen the cast of this thing? I think we talked about this before,
Yeah,
but
insane.
this cast is crazy.
Eric Andre, and then who's the actual? Well, there's more than one. There's an Asian wrestler. I two right. There's an
And
American
Cody
one.
Rhodes shows up in this. You get all kinds of big names. Orville Peck is in this, a famous wrestler. So yeah, if you're a wrestling fan, you got Roman Reigns in this thing, man. Like they're combining all kinds of fandoms here. You've got 50 Cent showing up, Jason Momoa double hitting this week with trailers. But yeah, let's just run through this cast really quick. Noah Centino, Andrew Koji, Selena Ling, Roman Reigns, David Desmelchin, Cody Rhodes, Andrew Schultz, Eric Andre, 50 Cent, Jason Momoa. Look at this. Orville Peck. It just goes and it just goes and it goes. Kyle Mooney is in this at some point.
Oh no, Orville Peck is that gay country singer.
Oh, yeah, with the mask and everything. Is that like that fake
Yeah,
personality?
yeah. So this cast, I mean, Eric Andre, David Desmelchin, what the hell, and what's his name was going to be in it from um, he's in the Fallout show. Walton Goggins. He was going to be in it, but then that didn't ultimately happen. But yeah, this cast is just absolutely insane. Is
Andrew
is
Schultz
Jason
made a.
Momoa is Jason
Go ahead.
Momoa in this?
He is. He plays Blanca, a big, giant green monster.
Man, this is gonna be incredible. When does this release?
Let's see. October 16th.
That's great. So you get Mortal Kombat 2 in the summer, and then Street Fighter in the fall.
Andrew Schultz made a good joke, he said. And now here comes a cast of Mortal Kombat 2. And then it's, oh, wait, no, they're not here because we're the ones at the Video Game Awards. We're going to be the Video Game Movie of the Year, baby.
So
Kind of
so
like
we
talking shit.
so we get Clayface on 9/11, and essentially a month later, we get Street Fighter.
It's going to be a crazy year for video game movies next year. Plus, TV shows. Fallout's about to start. Who knows what's going to come for the takeover of video game IP?
Yeah, superheroes are done and video game adaptations are here.
I don't know if they're done, but they're still trying.
They're trying.
You want to talk about some superhero news?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that trailer.
Yeah, we got it. Supergirl finally lands a trailer. Been waiting for Supergirl for a while. She showed up at the end of Superman, but now we're finally getting a look at her movie. Ari, what do you think of the Supergirl trailer?
I thought it was pretty okay. It kind of just looks, all right. I mean, Craig Gillespie is a good director, but he's also go-to, studio director. He'll do. I, Tanya is a good movie that people enjoy, and people really love Cruella. But he's a solid studio director. He's someone that is going to listen to Gunn and do what he wants him to do. And it looks like what I was worried was going to happen. Because this is the first non-Gunn directed DC movie, so you want it to feel, different. And it just felt like he told him to make a fun space adventure that doesn't look that different. I'm not saying it literally looks like Guardians of the Galaxy, but got that fun. You got that pop song playing. She's got the funny line. This isn't gonna end well for you. And I'm like, this is not what I want from this.
Yeah, that was my biggest takeaway, honestly, is we were looking forward to this saying, oh, how is Gunn going to set this apart? How are we going to feel about a non-Gunn DC movie? We were kind of excited to see what it was going to look like, what it was going to feel like. But I was a little cautious because I was saying this is still going to feel a lot like Superman. This is going to feel like a spin-off, essentially, of Superman. And that's what it feels like. The tone and the style all feels very much in line with Superman. And she has that line of like, oh, Clark or Cal sees the good in people. I see the truth. So you get she's kind of this inverse of Superman, but the movie itself is not that different from Superman, so it doesn't really feel like it stands apart. Like you're trying to sell me on this unique take on the character that's not just going to be like Superman but a woman. And when I watch this trailer, it kind of just feels like Superman, but he's cool. Like they don't really change all that much about the actual world. I would have loved to see this be very distinct and very unique, and it didn't really have that. I am looking forward though to some parts of this. I'm excited to see more of Krypton. It looks like we're going to see like the actual destruction of Krypton and how Kara's family reacted to that. How did she survive? We're probably going to get all of that explained in a flashback, and it will be curious to see how that leads into the message that Clark got from his parents about going out and taking over the world and all that stuff and having your harem of women and all that. How is this flashback going to line up with that, right? And are they going to try and use this as a chance to retcon that and make it feel like it wasn't really what it seemed or anything like that? To me, that's what I'm most excited about is how this expands the DC universe, shows us other
Yeah.
planets, other places in time. But when it comes to the actual Kara herself, she seems fun. She seems fine, but it very much seems like Star-Lord. It feels like that sarcastic kind of over it all kind of thing. And I'm sure she'll have an arc, and by the end of the movie, she'll probably be more of a hero character. But I think it will be more interesting to see how she interacts with Clark and how they play off each other in like a team up movie or a Justice League or something like that, more than what she's doing by herself. Because so far, that personality just hasn't really sold me. Like, I like the attempt and what they're trying to do with it, but I don't know. It seems just like it's like Guardians of the Galaxy, like you said. It seems like they're just trying to play the hits here.
Yeah, I am excited to see, David Krumholtz as her dad and, what kind of role he plays. Do we see a hologram projection? Um, but yeah, it's just kind of, like I like the, he sees the good in everyone and she sees the truth, but I'm just not getting a lot out of this trailer. And it is a first trailer, but yeah.
I'm still
But
pretty excited for this thing. I think the world exploring will be fun, and I am excited to see how that arc goes. Like, is she going to by the end of the movie be truly heroic, or is she going to be kind of heroic but still have that attitude and that like devil may care kind of thing going for her?
do you see Jason Momoa in the trailer?
I think you get like a shot of him or something like that. Didn't actually see him when I watched the trailer, and I watched it like 2 or 3 times, but I did see like screenshots of him going around. So I think somebody saw him in the trailer.
What do you think of the look of the villain?
Yeah, you only get one shot, I believe, of like an actual close up of the villain, but that's almost like the most Guardians of the Galaxy part of it. Like it has that
Yeah.
crazy makeup going on and like stuff sticking out of the forehead, all of that kind of stuff.
When his team showed up, I was like, "Are those the Ravagers?" And that was the most Guardians part to me. Is we got this group of bad guys from outer space. I want from what I've read of the comic book, it has almost this like Viking Renaissance era vibe to one of the planets they're on, and I'm excited to see how they explore different planets in this movie. If this has a huge budget, maybe we get more planets than we get in the comic.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see that, and yeah, to see Krypton actually like come to life and be destroyed, and how that ties into everything. The DC universe building here, I definitely think has a strong possibility, right?
Yeah.
I, I'm. Has it been confirmed that Corn Sweat is in this, or is it just a theory?
No, it has not been confirmed. I think ultimately he will be for a scene.
Yeah, I think he will be,
Yeah.
especially to tie everything together with crypto or something like that.
Yeah.
Acres of Movies is in the chat. They said they're excited for Street Fighter. I'm definitely excited for Street Fighter. We talked about how much we're looking forward to that.
Do you have any? Are you gonna watch Fallout?
I'm probably gonna watch Fallout. I'm gonna make an attempt to catch up. I only watched like an episode or two of the
Yeah.
first season and I fell off. But I
Yeah.
really love Fallout and I love the Fallout world, so I wanted to give that another shot. It was the characters to me that was holding me back. I just didn't really like any of them.
Should we move on to the next topic?
Yeah, let's move along. Speaking of TV, we got a big TV topic right now because HBO has released this extensive first look. I call it extensive, but it's a bunch of short looks
Yeah, yeah.
put
It's a bunch
together
of,
extensively,
but
But you
some
get
of
a
them are but some of them are first looks.
you get a look at a bunch of new stuff coming in 2026, returning shows, new shows, stuff I'd never even heard of until I watched this thing. Euphoria standing was a big standout for people. House of the Dragon, big standout for people. Night of the Seven Kingdoms. We saw some first footage of the Pit. A lot of stuff on this list. What's set up for you, Ari, in this big
Yeah,
first
we
look
got a
for
first
HBO?
look at the upcoming Larry David American History sketch comedy show, which I guess this footage reveals that Jerry Seinfeld is going to be in it. Seinfeld reunion. Can't wait to see Seinfeld play one of the Civil War battle leaders. It's going to be
Oh God.
great. Can't wait for Seinfeld to be like, "Stop fighting! What are you doing? Put the guns down! I mean, come on!" This will be incredible. This has the potential to legitimately be great. I'm curious how close to today they get. Are they gonna portray like Trump's inauguration and Larry David as Trump and he's like, "Hey, come on, I might do a good job, and then Seinfeld comes in as Biden and he's like, this is gonna be just a lot of fun. But we also got a first look at that. I think it's called Rooster, which is Steve Carell returning to comedy, which will be interesting to see on HBO. Believe the last show he did was The Patient, which I did really enjoy. So it'll be interesting to see him return to comedy. And then we got our official first look at Lanterns. Finally, we got like 10 seconds of them just in a car or whatever. Um, but yeah, I'm looking forward to Lanterns. I'm really curious about that in terms of DC, and we get a little snippet of Night of the Seven Kingdoms, but then we also got our first look at the return of House of the Dragon. So, which confirms we're getting House of the Dragon next year. So we're getting, for the first time ever, two Game of Thrones shows in 1 year. That's gonna be insane.
Yeah, especially after such a big gap. They made us wait so long between seasons of House of the Dragon, and now we're gonna get double, right? And I'm
You
really
know, we're
looking forward to House of the Dragon because they left us on essentially like the middle of things, right? So we're
yeah.
gonna come back and essentially get like a finale level arc, right? There's a huge turning point of the story coming up like right now. So we're gonna get a big battle sequence, some big twists and things like that right when the season starts. So it's gonna be a great watch. And yeah, Night of the Seven Kingdoms is a much slower, more contained story than we've been getting from the Westeros stuff. So I think that'll be a really good change of pace and focusing on essentially two characters in their very contained journey. I know they're going to get multiple seasons, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be like a 5-6 season type of thing. It'll be like a short contained story of a few seasons rather than like this big intricate weaving of all these characters across like continents and decades. It's just going to be these couple of characters who we know from the lore end up influencing history quite a bit, but we're seeing them at a different time in their life, right? So I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Do Do you have any thoughts on the first look at DTF St. Louis starring Jason Bateman and David Harbour,
I'm looking
where he says DTF? What does that mean?
I'm looking forward to seeing them play off each other. I think they obviously I both have a lot of comedic chops, and it's going to be such a bizarre performance. I think from both of them. I'm really looking forward to seeing how they land that weird situation.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. I really like David Harbour. I'm glad there's been no controversies with him.
Yeah, I'm glad he's fine. He came out at the Game Awards yesterday, and they were like known for Thunderbolts and Stranger Things, and I was like, I guess that's it, right? Nothing else. There's nothing else we would know him for, right? Don't think about anything else. Just those two things. Don't think about the rest.
Santa Claus has been naughty this year.
I'm looking forward to an extent to this Big Bang Theory spinoff they showed a teaser for,
Oh,
where the comic book owner Stuart goes into the multiverse, and it
oh,
looks like an extremely strange show. I'm not sure
uh-oh.
it'll be great, but I'm sure I'll end up watching it with my girlfriend. It looks like a really bizarre show for sure. When I saw the couple of shots in this, I was like, "What am I gonna be watching next year?" Because that looks
Should
pretty
I
wild.
watch it? Should I watch it without having seen Big Bang Theory or Young Sheldon?
You definitely should.
What is this? So this is the third Big Bang Theory entry, right?
Yeah, there was Young Sheldon, and now there's the Stewart Saves the Multiverse, and I believe there's another spinoff cooking for maybe next year.
Imagine you only watch Young Sheldon and you're like, oh shit, we're getting another show in the Young Sheldon universe, and then you watch this.
Yeah, what would the transition be like? I can't imagine. As for lanterns, I'm getting a little nervous that we haven't seen the suits yet. I'm wondering if they're gonna like hold those for a real long time. Are
Oh
they gonna
boy.
like all the whole first season not show us the suits, or is it gonna be one of those things where like we show you the suit in episode like 5 and then we pull it
Uh,
back again and bring it back for the finale? You know, like are they gonna really tease us with that?
oh, oh no. I really hope not. That's getting annoying where it's like, oh, no costumes for most of it, and then you'll get it at the end, maybe.
Yeah, Daredevil season 1 effect. Anything else standing out for you from this HBO? Oh, Euphoria. What do you think of
Oh
Euphoria?
yeah, yeah, Euphoria. Sydney Sweeney is back. Finally, it's been 3 years. 3 years later, beginning of 2022, right after we got No Way Home, we got, it's funny, Chloe Zhao returns around the same time that Euphoria returns after that gap. But yeah, it looks, it looks like more of Euphoria. This teaser basically confirmed that they're not in high school anymore, because you hear her say 3 years after high school's over, this is what life is like. So they are trying to avoid the inevitable criticisms, which I think is a smart choice. Maybe we'll see a little high school, the first episode or two. I mean, they gotta show us their. I'm sure they'll show us their graduation or something. But I think if this is what's happening, this is a wise choice.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what they do with it. And the first 2 seasons, I actually just really love. They're so elevated and so crazy. And like, if you try and take them as serious drama, I could see a lot of criticisms for it. But when you take it as just like this exaggerated soap opera with kids in it, it can be a lot of fun, and it's really camp and fun to watch. And yeah, now that they're adults, I'm curious how that elevation keeps going. Like, is it going to still have that crazy, larger than life feel to it, or is going to have that kind of slow down feeling you get when you get into adulthood, where things aren't quite as zany and aren't quite as frantic, and you start to kind of look at your life where it's at, and think about how you got here. They're talking, I'm like 3 years after high school. This is where my life is. Some of them seem like they're in a good spot. Some of them probably aren't, right? And we're probably going to get a lot of that looking back and wondering, did I make the right choice?
I
But yeah,
think
go ahead.
I think they might get crazier, especially if this is really the end of Euphoria forever. We're not coming back in like 25 years even. Then they're gonna go really off the rails, I feel.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how they do it. And that cast, getting them all back together was really cool, because obviously so many of them have gone on to become huge names. And you look back at Euphoria, love it or hate it, and it was a shaper of the next generation of film and TV, right? All these people, whether they had huge careers, funny careers, or great careers, they all went on to do something you saw, right? So that's this show, whether you love it or hate it, is going to be part of history now. And I can't wait to see how they wrap it all up and give us some climactic endings to all these characters, because I have a feeling they're going to really make this essentially the end of Euphoria, right? I don't think they're going to be doing like season 4 next year, or season 5 the next year. Like, whether or not they come back for another season of a show called Euphoria, I think they're going to wrap up basically all of these character storylines here. All right, you ready to move on?
Yeah.
Let's move on to some returning celebrity faces. Jennifer Lawrence and Josh Hutcherson. Josh, fresh off of the Best Picture qualifying Five Nights at Freddy's, is going to be returning to Hunger Games for Hunger Games: Sunrise and the Reaping, a prequel coming out late next year. Jennifer Lawrence and Josh Hutcherson are coming back as their characters. It sounds like there's going to be kind of like a Hobbit style wrapping, like a layered narrative thing where they're sitting around being told the story by Hamish, and then we're going to flash back to the younger cast and maybe come back to them at like the end or something like that. But sounds like it's going to be like a 2 or 3 scene kind of thing. But what do you think? Are there going to be larger roles than that, or do you think it's just going to be
Yeah, I think it's
something
going to
to
be
prop it up?
essentially like that. The crazy takeaway from this is that they actually will at the end set up another Hunger Games movie with them, which I don't think is going to happen, but it's possible. Anything's possible. But yeah, I think it's really just going to be a couple scenes of them coming in and out, going back to the present, and sort of Hobbit them looking back. But I'm really looking forward to this movie. I'm just not sure that we needed to know a year ahead of time. And I think that the reason they're doing this is clearly they really want this movie to work. They really want this movie to hit. The last one did, it did okay, but it wasn't, breaking records and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
they really want people to show up, and if people know they're going to be in it, even if it's just a scene, they're going to be more likely to go out for this.
It's interesting to me that they confirmed both of these two, but not Woody Harrelson. Does that mean maybe they haven't got him the sign yet? Maybe he's not coming back at all. Maybe, it'll just be the two of them talking or something. But that would be kind of weird if they're like, hey, remember Hamish, when it happened to him? And we don't
There's
see
no way.
him.
Yeah, there's no way. And Woody isn't. He's not. I mean, like he's not like Tom Hanks. He's not like impossible to nail down. Like I love Woody
No.
Harrelson, but he's not like at the A plus superstardom.
And you mentioned that you don't know if this is going to lead to something else, but I look at both of their IMDb's and both of their box office mojo pages, and I think maybe it does happen. I look at, Die My Love was supposed to be her big Oscar play and her awards player, and it's not going to manifest into any awards. It didn't manifest into any box office, and she's been kind of in that same boat for a really long time. So, and look at Josh Hutcherson. He even said in the press recently that he's had a hard time getting offers
Yeah.
at all, let alone good offers. So I think both of them really have a good shot at coming back, just because their career launch didn't really happen, right? Jennifer Lawrence is in a much, much better spot than he is. She's still in a lot of really good stuff every year, but she's not like the A-lister that I think maybe she wants to see herself being, right? So this could be a way to get them both back into the front of the conversation and get some of those offers back in their plate again.
Well, I do want to clarify. I believe he was talking about back then, because if you look at his career after that, it was just Future Man. But now he's actually getting work, which I think that actually maybe makes it more likely that he actually is getting offers now, and he is getting some level of work now. So they say, he can still act, he can still perform. So maybe that makes it actually a little more likely than if he was getting nothing at all.
Yeah, and you can make fun of Five Nights at Freddy's, but like those movies put him back in the conversation a
Yeah.
little bit and made people be like, "Hey, what's going on with Josh Hutcherson? I'd love to see him in more stuff." Even Matthew
He's
Lillard, I think, to somewhat of an extent, has a bit more of a career boost in terms of attention and engagement because of the Five Nights at Freddy's movies. So these movies get people talking about certain things, at least.
I don't think he's in the very greatest performance in these movies, but don't put that on him. I put that on the lack of the lack of material.
Yeah, these are two really strong actors. So if you can give them a
Yeah.
great script to bring this thing back to life, I think that could go over really well, especially because the last one or two Hunger Games movies, I would say, are not like really great. they're okay. I don't hate them,
Yeah.
but I think it ends on a lower note than it starts. So if they could come back and bring that franchise back to life, that could be a great way to do it.
Do
And I
you
think
think
people are to an extent resonating with like just bring the franchise back. Don't do these weird half spin-offs with like a cameo from this person or that person. Like just bring the franchise back, and maybe that's what they're gonna do here.
if you haven't gotten a chance to see Die My Love, I highly recommend it. She's phenomenal. It's easily the best performance of her career.
Yeah, I definitely will check that one out. I haven't seen it yet myself, but it's on my list to watch in the
The
next couple of weeks.
Does Haymitch die in the movies?
I honestly don't remember. He may, but I don't
Yeah,
remember the last movie very well at all.
my memory of these is very foggy, and I just rewatched them all like 2 years ago. Like I was like, did Lenny Kravitz did he die in the first one or the second one?
And I was thinking, oh, is the Hemsworths not coming back? And then I was like, maybe that character dies. I don't actually, maybe
I
I don't
don't
remember.
know. I think he lives. She just ends up friend zoning him, which is worse than
Okay,
death.
worse than death.
What if they bring Chris Hemsworth in?
Yeah, bring him in as the same character. Don't mention it, but just like bring him in to recast as his brother's character.
I would say that if it does happen, I mean, look at the cast for this new one. I think that if it did happen, we'd get an even. I mean, that would be a very big cast. I would like to see someone like Coleman Domingo somewhere in there, as sort of like a maybe Stanley Tucci, a character like that.
Yeah, that's always someone you can throw into like a great supporting role who elevates a movie
But he
so much.
also, he also just did that in that same role essentially in The Running Man.
That's true. Any other thoughts on returning Jennifer Lawrence and Josh Hutcherson? Are we gonna get the Hemsworth? Why not get all three of them back in here, right?
I think what'll happen is, you know how at the end of like the Hobbit movies you get that scene of him putting the book away and then he walks out. They'll do that where you see what's going on. We get like a 5 or so minute scene of, everyone, and that's what'll tease the I mean, seriously, I think if they are doing another one, that's how you do it. Is you essentially end with, setting it up.
I will look forward to it. Let's see how that goes. We got a long ways to wait. That's not till like
And
November or something of next year.
you could do like a really depressing ending where you have a scene with Woody Harrelson where the last person who dies, they're like, this one day will end. This one day will end, and then the movie ends in modern times where things are fine, things are looking, world is hopeful, and then someone is bringing back the games.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Let's move on to some positive industry news before we get to some negative industry news. We'll talk
Oh
about
boy.
Zootopia 2 crossing the $1 billion mark. Congratulations to the animated team there. I know Disney animation has struggled here and there to make hits, so giving them a big hit is great news. It saves a lot of jobs, keeps a lot of people employed at the studio, and I'm sure is going to line up a couple more movies for them over the next couple of years. Have you seen Zootopia 2 yet, Ari? If not, any thoughts on this news regardless?
Not yet. Not yet. I would like to see it soon. There's just it's so much out. I gotta see Silent Night, Deadly Night. Gotta see the new Josh O'Connor. We got two Josh O'Connor movies this weekend. Knives Out 3 and Rebuilding. So he's got a big come on. But yeah, this is great news. As much as I don't like Disney, I can't complain about a Disney movie making so much because that's a huge boost for movie theaters. And we look at something like Netflix that are going to put movies in theaters for maybe 45 days if we're lucky, if that deal goes through, if they buy Warner Brothers. So it's really nice to see a movie really do this well. I didn't like F1, but I was happy to see it make all that money because movie theaters are really in trouble and they need any W they can get.
I want to talk about some negative takes on this news, but uh, it's interesting that this is the first time ever that Disney Animation has had two consecutive $1 billion movies ever with Moana 2 and Zootopia 2. So that's a win. To have two $1 billion movies in a row is a big, especially now we don't really get $1 billion movies like we used to
Yeah.
be getting them, right?
The the highest grossing Disney animation films are Zootopia, Moana, and then the sequels for both of them.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that Disney seems like they have the juice for hits, but only when it's a sequel. Their biggest hits
Yeah.
recently have been sequels, and that seems to be the direction that animation in general is going. People will show up for Moana 2, Zootopia 2, but they're not really going to show up for, you know, a new IP they have never heard of before. They're not going to go see Wish. They're not going to go see any of those other movies that struggle at the box office. So
Um.
it's a win to an extent, but it's also a sign of the times that people want to show up for stuff that's established, that they know what they're going to get out of. They're not really going for risks.
Um. And I think it's a very, very strong sign that Zootopia and Moana, they need to continue. They need to continue making those.
Yeah, Moana 2 was going to be a Disney Plus release, and now it's $1 billion movie.
That's why I am a little bit hopeful for the quality of Moana 3, because it won't be made for streaming and then, released on the big screen. It'll be made for the big screen, and hopefully, even if they can't get Lin-Manuel Miranda, hopefully at least they can get a decent songwriter for the next one.
EDM chimes in, says they rewatched Utopia in 3D this time, a decent 3D conversion, but the film plays it so safe. Every scene gave me a feeling of written by a box office approved board. Still happy for its success, though. And
You
that's
you
unfortunate to hear, especially in something like Zootopia that touches on so many potential politically charged themes. And then I felt the way about the first one as well. It touches on themes that are supposedly controversial and interesting, but it doesn't actually like say or
Not
do anything
really.
interesting with those themes. It just has them there, right? And just having them there is not really enough. But I guess it's more than having literally nothing to say. Like, I guess something is better than nothing. But yeah, I'm excited
Yeah.
to see Zootopia 2 myself and see what I think, but that would be a
There's
complaint that carries over from the first one for me.
yeah, there's like one good line in the first movie where he's like, "Oh, well, you like me, but not like the others of my kind," or whatever. Like they're trying to comment on, racism, whatever. She literally has like fox repellent, but it's just like, yeah. But it's a good movie, Zootopia. But on rewatch, it's good. But I remember loving it when I first watched it. But it is good.
I'm sure once we see it, we'll review it on the show. I'm going to see it hopefully in the
Yeah.
next couple of days, so
Are
I'll get another shot.
you're not excited for Hoppers, the upcoming Pixar film?
Not exactly. I mean, I'll probably see it, but it looks like so many really, really generic movies, and I think
I
that's been part of the problem with
Yeah.
both Disney and Pixar is they make these new IPs, but they don't seem very exciting or fresh or
No.
actually new, right? It's new in theory, but it's not like something I haven't seen before, and that's what turned me away from a lot of the recent new franchises. I look at it and it just feels like any animated kids movie. It doesn't feel like it has that really new feel to it where I got to go see it. Like Soul, I went and saw it, and I wasn't like, oh, it's not a sequel. I went and saw it because the premise was really great and the style of the animation was pretty interesting, and I really appreciated that movie. And I feel like a lot of the recent works from them have missed that spark that makes me want to go out and see it.
Yeah, I haven't been blown away by a Pixar film since Coco, honestly. I mean, even Elemental I really liked, but it still wasn't, like phenomenal. But I saw the trailer for Hoppers. I'm like, what the hell is this generic ass? And then I saw Pixar, and I was like, wait, is this a joke or something? Is Liam Neeson about to walk out and be like, "I got you, fucker"?
It starts to
Um,
feel like they're really only putting the money and the effort behind the franchises, and then they're
yeah,
wondering why only the franchises succeed, right? They
yeah,
seem like they're putting all of their big pushing, all of their money, all of their like groundbreaking animation into sequels rather than into these new IP.
yeah. Toy Story 5.
And I'm sure Toy Story 5 is going to look incredible, right? I'm sure it's going to be like nothing we've ever seen in terms of the animation quality. Why are you not getting that from Hoppers?
Um, I'll be curious to see how well Toy Story 5 does.
Yeah, that's
Does
next year. I can't believe it, but I'm sure it'll do incredible. How is that not going to be $1 billion movie?
did Toy Story 4 make $1 billion?
I'm not sure. We'd have to look that up, but I think the nostalgia is there for this.
Nostalgia is all you need.
You ready to move on to some
Yeah.
not so great news? Another update here on the long running takeover of Warner Brothers. as Paramount has officially launched their hostile bid, saying, "Look, we're offering $30. They're offering 27 something. We're giving you more money." And Paramount is also going to take the entirety of Warner Brothers Discovery. They're not going to piecemeal it up. Seems like it's a bit more convenient for a lot of people involved. So that's their pitch, at least. We're going to give you more money, and it's not going to be this hassle of cutting up Warner Brothers Discovery into a million pieces. They also said that they promised at least 30 movies annually and giving many of them typical theatrical runs. So they're saying, look, if you want things to be like they are, or perhaps like they were, we're offering you that way to make a lot of money, and then we're going to keep things more traditional in terms of movie releases. But it doesn't seem like that is going to be easy for them. Netflix is really pushing back. Trump has said he's happy with Netflix after speaking with Ted Sarandos. He's worried about stuff like market share, but I think Trump's in that position where he's like, hey, I'm going to go with the victor, right? He's not going to really push either side. He's going to push the one that seems like it's going to win, right? So I don't know what to think here. I think this is really rough, sore loser behavior from Paramount, but they are making a decent case, and I could see some people being pulled over to their side, but I don't know how well this is going to go for them.
Yeah, I mean they're offering essentially $30 more billion. So how do you say no to that?
Yeah, I really wonder how this debate's going to go because the Netflix thing would keep a lot of the higher ups at Warner Brothers employed. I think that's why they're leaning towards Netflix themselves. But there could be an argument of like, hey, I'm a shareholder. I don't care if you still have your job. I want to make the most money for myself, right? And
Yeah.
I'm curious how that goes. But yeah, Paramount promised Trump that they would make big changes at CNN, which I
Yeah.
think will help Trump to butter him up, for their side of the argument because he wants to control the media in that way. CNN is one of his biggest critics, one of the most popular news networks around. So being able to control that, even to a little bit of an extent, would be ginormous for Trump and his party.
CNN has been Trump's biggest enemy for the last decade.
It's also interesting that inside of this hostile bid, Paramount got the funding from Jared Kushner as well as Saudi investors.
Oh boy.
So how can that not be a conflict of interest where Trump gets to approve Jared Kushner and whether or not he makes the sale or not? Like, so something's not lining up there, But
Did
I don't know.
did you see that Saudi Arabia launched a film related business, a film related company this week?
Yeah, they've been really getting involved in the gaming space too, investing a lot of money. It's not coming back to them in the gaming space like I think they wanted it to. So I wonder if that's a sign that this investment would not really go well for them in the movie space either. It doesn't seem like they're really making smart decisions in the entertainment space necessarily. But yeah, I really would not like to see Jared Kushner and Saudi Arabia control Paramount. As much as I want to go to the movie theater and see movies in the theater,
What are you going to be
I
seeing
guess
in
I've
the
got to
theater?
sacrifice that at the altar of not having the entirety of the media controlled by foreign investors and hostile interests.
Yeah, at that point, what are you going to be seeing in the theater?
Yeah, saying nothing but Reagan over
Did
and
you
over again.
did you see? So when I saw House of Dynamite at this dine-in chain, I can't remember what it's called. Really fancy, insanely expensive. You do not want to know what my food bill was, and
Oh boy,
I wish I didn't know what it was. I'll tell you this: it was more than my $40 ticket for that Tron double feature.
jeez.
Yeah, really, really bad. But when I was there was this ad done by Conan O'Brien for this company that was like, watch streaming at the theater, and it was called like Streamia or something, presented by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I'm like, wait, what? Conan sold out Saudi Arabia? And then I did some research, and it was actually a parody that I think aired at one of the award ceremonies last year or the Super Bowl, and it's Conan O'Brien essentially just parodying everyone selling out to Saudi Arabia, and it's actually pretty funny if you watch it that way. I'm like, this is hilarious. Is this serious? But yeah, Conan stays based. Speaking of Conan, I'd like to real quickly give my thoughts on. I finally got to see Mary Bronstein, the husband of Ronald Bronstein, producer of the Safdie brothers films, and he also co-wrote Marty Supreme with Josh Safdie. If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, her directorial debut, which is based on her real life, their real life with their daughter actually had that rare condition. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed Rose Byrne's performance. She should definitely be nominated. It's looking like she might be nominated. I like this movie because I really like movies about unpleasant subject matters, maybe unpleasant people. She's not like Howard Ratner and Uncut Gems. She's not a piece of shit. She's not a bad person, but she's not someone that most people want to be around. I thought it was a very uh, real performance. And yeah, I really enjoyed the movie. It's not necessarily like a Safdie brothers movie. It's a really honest drama, and I just really like seeing a film that feels real like this. I'd highly recommend it.
I'm really looking forward to it. I'm having had a chance to see it in the theater, and it's still like $20 plus on streaming to rent. So I'm hoping it'll drop on price at some point, and I can rent it at least on digital and watch it here. But I definitely think she'll get nominated. I'm sure at some point we'll talk about our Oscar predictions in terms of all of the categories, but I think she's definitely a staple.
I can't believe ASAP Rocky acted in two A24 movies this year.
I still haven't seen either one of them.
You should do a double feature of both.
I probably will. Maybe I will. You got to move along to some downer news at the Disney Corporation on the other side of the city here.
Oh no, they bought the rights for Five Nights at Freddy's.
If only, Disney has sold its soul to the AI devil. They made $1 billion investment in Open AI, which controls Sora AI, which you've seen a lot of those hyper realistic like shots
Oh.
from movies and commercials and stuff like that made by Sora, stuff where you can kind of tell it's AI if you look, but a few $1 billion and you won't be able to tell anymore, right? And
Uh-oh.
Disney put that $1 billion to use, gave them not just the $1 billion, but gave them the rights to all of Disney's archive to use by Sora, Star Wars, Marvel, uh, Sorcerer's Apprentice, all of the Disney archive,
Jeez.
anything Fox. You got to think about Alien. You got to think about, I think, Blade Runner,
Call me by
perhaps.
your name, AI.
Anything you can think of owned by Disney is now open. At least, well, I don't know about now, but once this thing is finalized, it'll be open for use by Sora. You can go on there and you can make Mickey Mouse, Teabag, Darth Vader. I
Mickey
guess we're
Mouse.
back.
Yeah. Mickey Mouse teabags alien Romulus.
Yeah, what kind of brain rot are we about to experience over the
It's
next
gonna be
couple of
so
years?
bad. Let me think. Winnie the Pooh does Rogue One.
And is this
Jeez,
how are you feeling? Because this seems like it's not a great sign for the state of things in terms
it's
of
really
one of the
bad.
biggest studios in animation as well as live action films selling their IP out to Sora AI, and that's just it's over, right? Like it might not be over completely for all movies and everything, but like if you can just go on the computer and make Luke Skywalker do and say whatever you want, why would you ever go and see The Last Jedi, right? Why would you ever go and see whatever the next Starfighter is going to be if you can go and make Ryan Gosling fly around on an X-wing and fight Winnie the Pooh with a Kingdom Hearts sword or whatever? You can do anything you want with AI now, and there's going to be a lot of people who just don't want to go see a movie anymore, don't want to go see this or that because they can stay home and watch stuff. And that's not really just about that. It's about the fact that this is going to replace a lot of jobs as well on the effects side, on the animation side. If you can just go on a computer and hit enter, and it gives you the big giant monster that you want to use in your scene, you don't need a VFX artist anymore. You don't need a bunch of animators. You don't need concept artists. You just need a computer, right? And that's a lot of jobs lost that can't be replaced, right? Like you might be creating a handful of AI jobs, but they're going to be at the cost of dozens of effects jobs.
Yeah, they licensed 200 of their iconic characters.
All right, so it's not everything, I guess, but it is 200 characters, and it's across Star Wars and Marvel and Disney.
Jeez.
How are you feeling? You gonna be downloading Sora tonight?
Yeah, I'm downloading Sora tonight so I can have Terrifier ride on Chewbacca's shoulders and save the younglings from Anakin and butcher Anakin instead, and then raise all of the younglings and be a good father.
Yeah, if you're someone trying to break into the industry now, I don't even know what to tell you because
I don't even
there's
know.
no space for anyone.
On your only shot is if you can be the next Timothy Chalamet, then you're gonna be okay.
Yeah, you've literally got to be like 1% level great to make it at this point because there's not room for someone who can just kind of float by because the float by job that will get you through a few years or whatever, that's just an AI job now.
Oh boy. People talk, on like leftist film Twitter or whatever, like, oh, I'm gonna boycott this movie if they use AI. You're gonna have to start boycotting a lot more movies pretty
Yeah, I
soon.
think there's going to be a pretty big divide sooner than later between like the indie and the big studio thing, right? Like if the studio is releasing a bunch of AI slop that just pushes together a bunch of Five Nights at Freddy's characters and makes them yell at the screen, there's going to be a group of people that will go and see that, right? But this, I think, still going to be a big, passionate amount of film fans who want to find something authentic that want to go see the sorry babies of every year, right? And they want to dig up the stuff that's even deeper than that, the stuff you never even heard of. There's going to be a market for the authentic movie fan, but I think that divide between blockbuster and indie is just going to get more and more and more thick as AI starts to take things over. Are gonna move on to the quick takes?
Oh, yeah, let's get White Lotus out of the way real
Oh
quick.
yeah, I didn't write that down, but you're a White Lotus fan. Give me some White Lotus
Yeah, we got
news.
our first piece of White Lotus season forecasting. Get ready, folks. Get ready, folks. Because Johnny Depp's best friend, the one and only Helena Bonham Carter, was England royalty. She's related to the Majesty or whatever. Helena Bonham Carter is going to be joining the cast. Well, she's in early talks to join the cast of White Lotus season 4. So we're starting with a very interesting, pretty wild, honestly, casting choice. I'm not sure if she's done TV before, but she's a reasonably, big name. She's been in Harry Potter. She's been in, Tim Burton films. It begs the question, and I'm okay. I'm not saying it's gonna
Oh
happen,
god,
but
I can
it
already see where you're
it
going here.
does make me wonder a little bit. She's very good friends with the man. Is she gonna go to what's his name, the showrunner, Mike White, and say, "Hey, could we maybe bring Johnny on too?" I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but a little part of me is starting to ask that question. We'll see. I'm curious what this cast is gonna. What the hell? L stream. I mean, they're not. I mean, they're not wrong. We're talking about some pretty depressing shit. Um, but I'll stream only because of this, because of Helena Bonham Carter. But yeah, I don't think they're gonna do it because he was in Knives Out and it's a little close to that. But it'd be fun if they did a Fight Club reunion and brought in Edward Norton. You know what would be? They said that because I brought up Edward Norton, and then when I say Brad Pitt, they're gonna say double L stream. Um, but Brad Pitt would be really fun. Imagine they did a Fight Club reunion, the three of them. No way in hell is that gonna happen though. Brad Pitt's not doing White Lotus, but yeah, I'm sure it'll be fun. I don't necessarily like her. She actually kind of grinds my gears. I can't stand that when she laughs in Harry Potter. I want to take out the gun and shove it down my throat. Um, but yeah, I'm sure she'll add an interesting. She'll be give a fun performance. But yeah, I'm really curious what the rest of this cast is gonna be like.
This is a great commenter. All right, I don't have much White Lotus takes. I haven't watched White Lotus, but I tell myself every year I'm gonna watch this one, and then I don't watch it. But maybe this year I'll watch it.
If they cast Johnny Depp, you have to catch up.
Maybe I will. If they cast somebody crazy, I might have to get in there. Like if Brad Pitt actually does join the cast, I might have to jump on the White Lotus train.
They just did cast someone crazy.
That's true. That's a pretty literal
What the
crazy though.
fuck is Helena Bonham Carter checking at the hotel? She checks in the hotel with her crazy face. She's like, "I'd like the nicest room there is," and then she does like that insane laugh from Harry Potter. She takes out the wand and shoves it in the hotel manager's throat.
I'm looking forward to it. I really like Helen Bottom Carter, so maybe she'll pressure me into seeing it. 28 Years Later is back on ahead of the release of the second film. It's been getting preview screenings, and now we're sharing that 28 Years Later Part 3. I guess it's part 3 of this
Yeah,
trilogy is
28
actually going
years
to
later,
happen.
3.
And Cillian Murphy is in talks, so I don't know if that means he's not in the second one, because if he was in talks for this one, you think he would is because he's not in the second one. But
Well, I
what do you
remember
think?
hearing I remember hearing Jeff Snyder, it was either speculation or he'd heard somewhere that sometimes just out of the blue, no introduction, he just likes to throw out a something he's heard, from the back of, his sources or whatever, but he was either speculation or him trying to scoop that had heard Killian Murphy's shows up at the end of the second one, which if that's speculation, I mean, to me that just makes a lot of sense. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you're gonna bring him in the third one, you have him show up at the end of the second one.
I
But
would
yeah,
think he'd be in the second one. That the headline saying that he's in talks is weird though, because if he was in the second one, why would he would not be in talks still, right? I would think he would already be in the third movie, but I wonder how much of this is like real and how much of this is trying to get people excited for the 28 Years Part 2 coming out in a couple of weeks, because they've been really showing that thing off early, getting a lot of positive word of mouth out there. This
maybe
headline makes it feel like it's an investment. The studio believes in it,
yeah, it
so I
could be
wonder how
this.
real this is and how much of it is just gassing up that other one.
It could be the studio telling that site to put this out there to build up hype.
Yeah, and a lot of times, like right before a movie comes out, they announce the sequel or they announce news on another part of the franchise just to get people thinking about this other movie as something real, that something is not just going to be abandoned. There's this plague of abandoned franchises that are like, oh, we're going to set up a sequel, and then they just never do it. And I think people are kind of tired of that. And there's some hesitancy to jump into a new franchise because there's a studio just going to abandon the franchise halfway through. So I think that's a good sign. They're at least going to cap off this trilogy. Interesting
You'll
Taika Waititi news. You want to move on to that, or do you got any more
yeah
28 Years Later thoughts?
yeah. Let's move on to that.
Taika Waititi is directing an adaptation of a book called Barn 8 from the She-Hulk creator and writer Jessica Gao. Barn 8 is a satirical heist novel following a pair of chicken egg auditors who plan a heist to free 1 million live chickens from captivity. So that sounds like a pretty crazy premise right there. Sounds like
Could
something
Taika be
Taika
back?
Waititi. It sounds like a great fit for Taika. That sounds like his kind of fit of absurdity and crazy. And I was reading up the Wikipedia page on Barn 8, and I will confirm that there are, in fact, chapters told from the perspective of the chickens.
This is gonna be incredible. It's gonna be like In a Violent Nature, but better.
I'm really excited to see Taika get back to just like straight up like crazy comedy. Like there's some satire in terms of like the meat industry and all that kind of stuff, I'm sure, but it seems like it's going to be right up his alley in terms of the absurd premise and the crazy characters you can get out of that. So I
It
can't wait to see this crazy pair of egg auditors. Like, what does an egg auditor do? And what inspires them to do a heist of 1 million live chickens?
it's gotta end with 1 million live chickens like going to like a tall skyscraper where all the executives are, the executives, and just brutally murdering all of them, right?
That would be great. Taika's not on the cast list yet, but he loves to be in his own stuff, so I'd be curious to see who he plays.
Glenn Powell and Tim Robinson.
I want to move on to some sad news in the Nickelodeon animation family. Jimmy Neutron's Jeff Garcia, as well as the Fairly Odd Parents' Jim Ward, both passed away this
Oh
week.
boy.
So yeah, Jeff Garcia, obviously an iconic part of my youth. Jimmy Neutron, I watched that so often as a kid. So, any thoughts for you, Ari, on both of these two iconic parts of our childhood passing away?
Yeah, it's terrible news, and he was not old. I believe he was like 50, Jeff Garcia.
Yeah, and Jim Ward was 66, so not exceptionally old either himself. But
Yeah, very sad news. We're losing a lot of great people in Hollywood, and he was also a stand-up comedian. I saw, I believe it was the Comedy Store, did a memorial event for him. Very sad news.
yeah, and I'm just happy seeing all of the outpouring of love for them. A lot of times, animated actors get not recognized for their work, so people who were big parts of our childhood. We,
Did
we
you know?
appreciate you guys and we are sad you're going.
Did you know Jim Ward was in the Destroy All Humans games?
I loved those games. I played them so much as a kid. They were
It's
huge staples of my childhood.
it says he was in the original Spider-Man film.
Oh wow, I wonder who he was. He was the live action Spider-Man, wasn't he? The first Spider-Man, the first ever live action Spider-Man.
Oh, so that must be why he had a cameo. It says just project coordinator, so it was probably just like, yeah. Oh wow. He
Yeah,
well he was it was also speaking of where we'll be, talking on that new Star Wars Racer game trailer, but he was in Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, the game.
classic game.
And
You
he
want
was
to?
and he was in the Phantom Menace video game too.
Speaking of, you want to transition to some positive
Yeah.
news
He
relevant to that?
yeah.
We got in fact, two new Star Wars games out of the Game Awards. Things coming in twos, I guess, this year. We've got an extension of the Old Republic. The director of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, as well as Mass Effect, is returning to gaming after a long absence from the medium to direct a new Star Wars RPG. Everyone is very, very excited about it. He called it a spiritual successor to Knights of the Old Republic. So I can't wait to play that thing and just to explore the Old Republic and like modern day gameplay, modern day graphics. That's going to be awesome. What are your thoughts, Ari, on the first of these trailers for the Old Republic sequel?
Yeah, I'm just grateful to have another Star Wars game that is not another Jedi Fallen Order, because that new one was not that was not it. That was kind of rough.
Yeah, the fun part of these RPGs is you can go and be who you want to be in a lot of extent. Your
That's
morality
really
can be your
cool.
own. Your class can be your own. What weapons? Are you a Jedi with a lightsaber? Do you just have a blaster? Are you this or that? And I'm imagining with modern technology, they're really going to get into even more of that RPG mechanic there.
The graphics look phenomenal.
I hope it comes out. We had the Star Wars Eclipse released, I believe, at the Game Awards many years ago. Just never happened. So I hope that this one actually happens.
I hope they have online play for this.
Yeah, I'm curious. RPGs like this don't tend to have online play. It's more like a solitary experience, but there could be something. I really don't know what to expect with that.
For the other Star Wars game, there will definitely be online
Oh
play.
yeah, the second announcement was a Star Wars Galactic Racer, so it's another spiritual successor to a Star Wars game. Star Wars Racer was like iconic game of my childhood. Driving around that pod race sequence over and over and over and over again as Anakin, as all of the various Phantom Menace characters. Helped me fall in love with the Phantom Menace as a kid, but this is going way beyond the Phantom Menace. It's going across the galaxy, across the timeline. You saw like Jakku when you saw the planet from the end of Last Jedi. So they're really going to be expanding to all of the Star Wars eras in this one. But
It's gonna
looks like a
be
pretty fun racer. What are you thinking?
it's gonna be so much fun to have this kind of racing game in Star Wars with modern graphics and modern gameplay. Is gonna be phenomenal. And we gotta talk about the big reveal at the end of the trailer is Sebulba is back despite getting blown up in the Phantom Menace.
Yeah, I
Shouldn't
guess
he
he
be
survived.
shouldn't he be dead?
He must have a really strong endurance, if he
They
survived that thing.
he was just so skilled that he lived. And he has no scars or anything. Maybe he'll be like Darth Vader. He's scarred, burnt up.
Yeah, he's evil now. He's just like totally evil.
The dead speak.
I'm curious about this one, if it's just going to be like straight racer or if there's going to be a lot of story to this, if it's going to expand upon anything plot wise in Star Wars. I'm fine with it just straight up being a racer. I'm really looking forward to playing it online with you and a bunch of our friends and seeing all the different ships. They have some pods, but they also seem to have like typical speeders and all kinds of different vehicles from across Star Wars. I can't wait to play this one.
Once GTA 6 comes out, I'm not going to watch a single movie for like 5 years. It's going
I
to be
hope you're ready.
GTA 6, Star Wars. I mean, please, Scorsese, don't make another movie again, please.
Yeah, and I believe The Racer is coming out in 2026. So
Oh shit.
one of the two of them had a 2026 release date on it.
Oh my god, GTA 6 and Star Wars.
I can't believe it.
And Doomsday.
It's going to be a crazy year.
And
Let's
Werewolf.
see. Let's talk about Doomsday just for a second, because we may not end up recording between now and when we see the Doomsday teaser. So I want to get from you any final predictions you might have on what we might see in this teaser, who might show up, how revealing are they going to be with Doctor Doom? Anything you want to throw out there and get your internet points
I mean, it's going to be like a minute and 23-second teaser, so I guess there'll be a shot of Doom. Do we see the mask in the first trailer? I don't know. I think we might. I think it might end with a shot of the mask. Maybe not a shot of his entire body, but like a very close up of the mask. Do we hear Downey? I don't know if we hear Downey in any of the trailers. I think they should, and they will probably most likely save that, because you want to first hear that when you see the movie, right? You don't want to hear that in a trailer, and I think we'll probably get some shots of the X-Men.
I'm going to take the opposite stance on you. I say we're going to hear Downey in the trailer. We're not going to see a shot of the mask. I'm going to take the opposite stance. I think we'll hear voiceover, some cryptic badass lines from Downey Jr. with like a little bit of a robotic filter or something that you can tell he has a mask on. And we'll see shots from behind. Maybe we'll see him like punching somebody or something like that. But I could see them holding off on the mask, at least for a little while. But I don't know if they can hold off to the movie, because they're going to want to get like posters and action figures and that kind of stuff of Dr. Doom out there.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm really excited for it, though. I would love to see X-Men. I have a feeling that the marketing is going to really lean into like show more than you think. They're not going to.
Yeah.
They were not afraid to tell you the whole cast of the X-Men is going to be in this, right? So I think that shows to me that they're going to have prominent roles, and they're not going to try and pretend they're not in this thing.
I think they're really going to lean heavily into the X-Men in the marketing, even more so than like the actual Avengers, because for these movies they will be Avengers.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how much of them are in that trailer. We get to look at James Marsden in the costume, man. You got to show me something. Give me some kind of banger. And I do think the big, like, whatever their great shot is, like their money shot of this teaser is not going to be Doom. It's not going to be an Avenger. We know it's going to be one of the X-Men.
Can you believe we could get Sam Jackson, Nick Fury, and Tobey Maguire Spider-Man shaking hands?
Imagine that's the final shot of this teaser.
Can you imagine they finally fulfilled, because they're originally going to have Tobey join the Avengers. If Tobey is in this movie and Sam Jackson is too, they've got to have a shot of them together. They've got to fulfill that finally.
It's only a week away, and we'll have seen this trailer. We'll come back to you guys.
Yeah.
Review Avatar, review that trailer, review all kinds of stuff when that hits.
There is a rumor. I don't know where it's coming from, but there was a rumor that there's 3 different versions of the trailer, and they all connect, and each of them will play with Avatar for like 3 weeks, one every week. So if that's true, it'll be interesting to talk about the different trailers as we see them.
It'd be fun if they did one of those like clue scenarios where you don't know what of the 3 you're going to get when you come to the theater.
Yeah,
right? So like we could come out the day of and I saw a different trailer than you saw, right? And we come on to review it and we realize, we saw different trailers.
Yeah, I'd prefer that to just a different one each week, because an actual mystery would be fun.
What else do you want to talk about? Do you have any thoughts on the Golden Globe nominations? I talked about them with Michael extensively. So if you want to see my thoughts and Michael's thoughts as the nominations rolled out and as we initially reacted to them, we got a couple of things wrong. It was kind of hard to hear the presenters at certain points, but we had our live reaction on the channel. So if you want to see me and Michael break down the nominations, check that out. But Ari, you haven't talked about them at all on the air yet. So what are you thinking?
Did Rose Byrne get in?
Yes, she did.
Yeah, she did. That is great. I think Eva Victor got. Did she get nominated for
She
actress?
did actor in a comedy.
Yeah, that's I don't. Yeah, yeah, hilarious comedy. Sorry, baby. Very,
I
very, very funny movie.
I haven't seen it yet, but
The
I'm
thing is,
guessing by your tone that it's not.
her character is like sarcastic, but that doesn't mean the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. They watch a movie, and if a character says funny things, that means the movie's straight up a comedy. Um, but yeah, I'm very happy about that. It's typical Globes nominations. There's quite a bit I'm happy about, and then there's some stuff I'm not so
I'm
happy about.
gonna correct myself and say she got nominated for drama, not comedy.
Oh, okay. That would have been well. That would have been consistent with that would have been consistent with the pass. You wanna
We could talk about just this one category, which was the big headlining category,
yeah.
musical or comedy. I'll read out the nominations for you. One battle after another, hilarious comedy. One battle after another. Marty Supreme, Begonia, great comedy right there. No Other Choice, Blue Moon, and No Nouvelle Vague. So there was a musical comedy category, and Wicked was not nominated. Jay Kelly was not nominated. It seems like those movies may have been killed off at the Oscars, but who knows? What do you think about Wicked missing this category and Nouvelle Vague and Blue Moon sneaking in there?
Wicked missing is confirmation that that thing is not getting in at the Oscars. If it can't get into the musical the category designed for it at the Golden Globes, there's I just don't see how it gets in at the Oscars. It's possible, but we'll see. The Secret Agent was not a surprise. Sinner was not a surprise. Sentimental Value, it does seem like is going to make it into Best Picture, and it was just an accident. I predict that that is winning foreign film as of right now. But in Marty Supreme, that thing's winning some acting categories. I think
I
there's
would hope so, although it underperformed in the acting categories here at the Globes. None of the actresses got in, so no
hmm.
supporting cast got in.
But I do think Timmy's gonna win.
I think that's a good bet.
I don't think it's a like 100%. There definitely is a chance Leo gets it, but right now I would predict Timmy gets it, and I think Jessie Buckley is winning actress. For me right now, it's pretty easy to predict, except for supporting actress. I think it's Gwyneth, but there's a slight chance that it isn't. But we'll see. We'll see.
Have you heard that Timothy Chalamet quote? Chalamet, that Timothy Chalamet quote, talking about how great he is.
Read the quote.
He says, "This is probably my best performance, and it's been like 7-8 years that I've been handing in really, really committed, top of the line performances. And it's important to say it out loud because the discipline and the work ethic I'm bringing to these things, I don't want people to take it for granted. And I don't want to take it for granted. This is really some top level shit." Any thoughts on this top level shit?
That's a quote, all right. I get that he wants to be proud of himself, and there's nothing wrong with praising yourself a little, but man, that's something, all right. That's a quote. He's like, listen, I don't want to like brag or anything, but I'm fucking amazing, and this is my best performance, and that's saying something because I gave all these other Timothy Chalamet performances. I'm so fucking good. Can you believe how good I am? Like he was method acting with this movie.
Yeah, I wonder if this might get him an ego check in terms of winning this Oscar. Like, are people going to be a little tired of the Timothy train? Are they going to be like, you know what, he's out here calling himself top level shit, saying he's the best in his field and all this stuff? Like, maybe we got to knock this guy down a peg and go back to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson smashing his machine right into Best Actor.
Dwayne Johnson got in. He's gonna win. I was glad to see Jeremy Allen White get in. And were you happy to see Joel Edgerton get in?
Yeah, I was surprised because I think that's the good thing about splitting these categories is you can get people in there that wouldn't necessarily be in like a 5, right? So people complain about the Golden Globe splitting these things, but people, there's people who would never get a nomination that are getting in this year because of it. So
I
I don't mind
did.
it.
I'm so happy that Oscar Isaac got nominated.
That's really interesting as well because I was writing him off in terms of actual awards presence, but I don't think he's going to get nominated at the Oscars. But like, if they really start falling in love with Frankenstein, maybe they start filling him in at other spots, especially with movies starting to fall off that people thought, oh, Jay Kelly, you might want to reserve a spot for George Clooney and Adam Sandler. Maybe not, right? So now there's starting to be spots opening up that weren't open before.
Um, I was really surprised to see that. What was it? No, I was not surprised that. Yeah, I was surprised. Never mind. I can't remember what. Yeah. No, I was surprised that Kate Hudson got in for Song Sung Blue. No Hugh Jackman, but Kate Hudson got in. I didn't think that was gonna get much, but that's interesting.
Yeah, she's definitely still alive, I think, in the Oscar conversation, to be honest with you.
You think so?
It's
Interesting.
that perfect narrative of like a comeback performance and a really nice, easy to watch movie that's not really going to get anything else, but people will walk out of it being like, oh, she was good in that.
So you could see her winning.
Especially this year in actress is such a strange year because there's so no one's gonna beat Jessie Buckley, right? But like there's a lot of potential to be getting in that 5.
I can't believe Adam Sandler got nominated for this movie.
Is
It's
that you gotta wonder if he's dead or if he's still alive? He's clinging on, even when the movie can't really cling on. Adam
Man,
Sandler's
I
still there.
really hope he doesn't win for this. I mean, I get it. They'd be actually awarding him for Uncut Gems, but can we not do it for this one, man? Um, let's wait until he works with Josh Safdie again. It, but yeah, not a lot of surprises overall. I don't remember what got nominated for TV. Were there? Oh yeah, no, gotta mention the fact that Rhea Seehorn, her first Golden Globe nomination.
Oh wow,
She did not get nominated for any of the 6 seasons of Better Call Saul.
unbelievable!
No, not one of those seasons.
But they noticed her here.
They noticed her in Pluribus.
She deserves it. And it's like such a centerpiece performance. Like without her working, that show completely doesn't work. So
Yeah, it's
you got to
because
notice
it's
that.
that's what's interesting about that show is it's not like Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. It's not like an ensemble. There's all these different characters. It's her show.
All right, do you want to move on to some other TV news, or do you got any other final thoughts on Golden
Yeah, we
Globes?
can move on.
Sigourney Weaver is joining this Tomb Raider series. It was a rumor for a while, and then she started talking about it like it's really happening. So it sounds like it's happening. We don't know anything about the character necessarily, but what do you think? Hero, villain? Do you think she'll be like a mentor character to Laura Croft, or do you think she'll be the antagonist that Laura Croft is trying to take down? You know, I don't really know very much about Tomb Raider, so
Yeah, I
I
don't
can't really
either.
like pull characters from Tomb Raider that she might be playing, but I'm excited to see her. Like we like to say, adding talent to something is never a bad thing, and she's coming off of Star Wars onto this, so
I'm
we'll
hoping that
see.
this is a good version of the Uncharted movie, a good, fun adventure video game adaptation. You know,
Yeah, I think they've got to get that focus like Street Fighter has, and just narrow it down to like Laura Croft has got to get into something in a tomb, and she's got to go on an adventure. Like you don't
yeah.
need to have a bunch of stuff yet. Like if you want to build up magic and all this stuff into the Laura Croft universe, you can do that at some point. But like you got to start us off with something that people can actually latch onto.
Just find her a tomb and have her raid it. You know, just this is serious. Just find it. There's a gem or an artifact she has to find, and that's it. That's the plot.
There were 2 new Tomb Raider games announced at the Game Awards yesterday. A remake from the ground up of the first game, and a new game coming out the year after that. So they're definitely trying to revive the Tomb Raider brand.
Interesting.
I think going back and doing a ground up remake of the first Tomb Raider is a really, really good idea because that game plays okay today, but it's super clunky, especially the graphics are rough. So making that playable today, I think will be a great place to start because the Tomb Raider series gets very convoluted in its sequels and its timelines and its canon. So being like, start here. This is the good one to start at. I think
They
that's a good move.
they should recast the video games and have it be Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I guarantee you, all her fans wanted her to be in the series for two reasons.
We're gonna see the Handmaiden though. Oh
Oh
boy,
yeah, the same day as Avatar.
I can't wait to review that.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Our last piece of headline here is Paul Bettany. He was
Oh,
he was in a conversation and they asked him, I think it was a convention or something like that. Oh, what are you working on next? And he says, "Oh, next year I'm going to be on Avengers duty." So what does that mean to him? Does that mean he's going to be in Secret Wars, or does that mean he's talking about Vision Quest, which does come out next year? But Paul Bettany casually mentioned that he's going to be on Avengers duty next year. So I'm I'm thinking that might be a double duty. Maybe it's Secret Wars and Vision Quest,
yeah.
but he's going to be back.
Maybe it's Secret Wars and Doomsday.
Well, yeah, but Doomsday will be this year, right? Wait,
Doomsday's
no,
the next
because
year.
they've already filmed it, right? So he wouldn't be filming next year for Doomsday.
Oh wait. Oh. I see. No, I see what you're saying. He probably just means Secret Wars.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. He's probably talking about Secret Wars, but you gotta hold back a little bit because Vision Quest does come out next year, so he could be talking about that, which he most certainly will be in.
He also could also be talking about Doomsday, and he's just they're asked, "What are you doing?" And he just it's just a quote at a convention.
Yep, but he's gonna be back, so
He
you're
definitely is.
if you're
I
holding
can't
out
wait for
waiting
that
for
Vision
Vision.
Quest. Wait, is Vision so Vision Quest is next year? So we're getting uh so next year we're getting 3 MCU shows?
As of now, we'll see if that stays, right? Like they do tend to shift the release dates on their shows, but as of right now, it's listed for late 2026.
Wow. So we'll start the year with Wonder Man Slop and end it with Vision Quest Peak.
I think we'll end up having Vision Quest lining up like where it ends like a week before Doomsday or something like that.
That
Similar to how
would
they done a
be that
couple
would be
other
the
shows.
wise. Yeah, that would be pretty wise.
Any other feelings you've got as we're wrapping up a week of movie news?
I don't think so. That's everything.
That's everything we've got. Next week, if you can believe it, Avatar comes out. So we'll be covering Avatar reviews when they drop. We'll be seeing Avatar, so we'll be reviewing it as well. I can't believe that's happening. So I'm sure we'll be doing something not just on Avatar, but on the myriad of trailers attached to Avatar, Doomsday, uh, Disclosure. Who knows what else will be showing up there? I wonder if they'll have a couple of surprises for us. Obviously, the Odyssey. I would love to see that prequel to the Odyssey, man. Get my hands on that Prelude. But man, what a week we have coming up. And then after that, it's the end of the year. So we'll be doing best of the year lists. We'll be doing worst of the year lists. And before you know it, we'll be doing anticipated lists for next year. I've already got my almost 100 movies on my list for 2026. So we're going to narrow that down for an episode of nothing but anticipated releases for next year. So can't wait to cover that, cover TV and movies throughout a God. When you see the 2026 calendar, you're like, how are we going to survive? There's just too much. There's just too much.
Oh, let me quickly before we close out just recommend Sisu Road to Revenge to everyone. This movie's flopping hard, but it's a lot of fun. If you like the first Sisu, you'll love and what I appreciated with this one, it's just a stupid action movie they started and they're like, "Oh, you need to go after Sisu." And then he's like, "Okay." And that's the plot of the movie. He's just on the run for these bad guys. And what I love about the movie, it has Looney Tunes logic. This movie knows what it is. If I told you some of the stuff that happens in this movie, you'd die laughing. It's just absolute pure just cartoon fun. These movies are just so much fun. There probably won't be another one, but these movies are going to be remembered very well. I think they will become cult classics in a while.
I can't wait to watch that one. You've been recommending it like crazy the last few days, so I can't wait to see it. Thank you so much for coming on the episode. Ari, we had a great conversation. There was a lot to talk about this week, and there's going to be even more to talk about next week. I couldn't believe we ended the episode last time, and then the next day, James Gunn announced the Supergirl trailer. So I'm hoping that tomorrow we'll be getting the Clayface teaser or something. Like give me something else to feast on just as the show wraps up. But thank you guys so much for watching. Stick around. Here's the thing for all kinds of reviews and news and all kinds of coverage. Until next time, fuck AI, fuck you, Disney. See ya.